Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's live streaming chat. I'm testing on the run, you guys. I've been having some problems with, StreamYard and Ecamm going through the M1 silicon, and it's crashing and it's being horrible. So today I've just pulled plugs and plugged in my old Windows laptop. And so I'm running from my laptop. So, bear with me. I don't have the same screens that I usually have that I can normally look at. Now, I do still have my M1 running. So the problem being that I have to click the mouse every time I want to shake the screen over there. So it does disappear. So, let's test these things while we're live. Let's do it. So first things first, legal-minded Karen with friends. She jumped in before the stream started. Hope she's still awake. Thank you so much, Karen. I also really appreciate your comments that you put in on the replays. Good morning or good evening, or hello. Probably best to say hello. Hello to Michael Sahovsky, Livestream Consultants, Russell from Florida Manufactured Home Living. Amazing Yacht Destinations is here from Thailand. It's great to see you. As Ernesto Esperanza. Sorry, as I said, screens are small. You're on Thanksgiving break already. That is awesome. Have fun. That's an awesome time. Hello. You just sent a short, kicked me out of waiting on this stream. I just sent a short. I put a short through about 12 hours ago, maybe. I don't know. I'm confused. It's all good. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. I very much so. So in my cups today, because I was madly ripping out cords and just doing all that sort of stuff, I only have 2 cups, so I am not a true beverage goblin. I just have some nearly cold tea and water. Okay. Stayed awake so I wouldn't miss it. You do so much for us. I wanted to show support. Thank you, Karen. I very much appreciate that. And please, you can always watch the replay. I know it's not the same as being here live, and I understand that, but I also feel, that it's very late for you. It's very late. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about in today's stream is, for those of you that have gone live, like for your first live, you've done it. You've gone live. The stream is finished. You've taken the breath at the end of it. Now, I don't know how your stream went. Did your stream go well? Are you like, oh my God? Or are you like pumped? Because those 2 things can happen, and they actually can happen at the same time. Okay, so you can have more than one emotion at the same time about your live streams. Now, what I want to say is you need to take the win first and foremost. Before you go through and check anything and look at anything, you need to just take the win. You set the goal to live stream and you went live. There are a lot of people out there who have never done it. And there's some people out there who never intend to do it. They don't want to do it. And I get that. But for those of us that are here on this channel and want to do it, we definitely need to take the wins when we get them. Okay? So you've done it. You've done your live. Your first live is out of the way. The nervousness, what's going to happen? Because you don't know, because you've never done it before. All of these things could be running around in your body. You may be fine. You might be like, yep, whatever's cool. Done. Next. And if that's you, that's awesome. That definitely wasn't me. Okay. I'm the person who will sit down for 3, 4 days, 5 days, thinking about every single word I said. Oh my gosh, someone could take that the wrong way. Oh, wow. I should probably pull this down. Oh my God. And I'm that person. So I'm trying to find that happy medium where you're not that person, because that is not healthy. I do not recommend it. But also you want to be the person who wants to next level, who wants to make it, you make it sort of you want to make the next thing just that little bit better. Okay. Like, you always want to be on that journey of improving, but not to the detriment of your mental health or your pocket, your hip pocket. I'm like talking your wallet here. Okay. So let me just have a little look in the chat here. J Real Slots has joined us. It's great to see you. Florida Living says, yeah, next you see if it really recorded. I mean, that's the thing. We'll go through that in a minute. My first live, my first live that I was the focus was over an hour and went great. Not on this YouTube channel, but on my drone YouTube channel. That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. My first live was not that great. Well, I mean, this is the thing. It was perfectly fine. There was no issues with it. I felt like shaky after it. And that, as I said, it could be more about me, about my personality. So that is, always the possibility. And I am super pumped that yours went well, and I'm so glad. So you've done your live, you've finished, you've hit end stream, you've double checked the stream is over, because that's another thing. Double check that the stream is over. My first suggestion is just jump in. YouTube will normally put up a screen to let you know how it's all gone once it's over. So as long as you've got YouTube running in the side, you can see it. The other thing you can do is actually jump onto your YouTube channel and just double check that it's there, because Florida Manufactured Home Living, that is a true thing, that you may not have a replay available. Did you check the settings when you were uploading it, that that you have a replay, that you have the chat replay, all those sorts of things. Hey, Jerry, great to see you here. So now my first things that I would say is after you've taken the win, okay? And you have to take the wins where we can get them. When we are first starting on this journey, it is hard. I'm not going to lie. It's not a simple, fast, easy skyrocket to fame and fortune. It's not for most of us. There are exceptions. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm never the exception. So I need to look at things from the perspective of, okay, what's going to be the hard slog here? Because that's going to be my path. Okay, so take the small wins, because it might be a little while before you get a big win. All right. Now, once you've taken your win, you do need to go back and analyze what you've done, because if we're trying to grow on our journey and next level our live streams, and by next leveling, I'm not talking about, okay, we've gone from live streaming on a mobile to full suite production. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like these little tiny incremental changes that you can make. You might just word something differently. You might want to title it better. You might want to pop in a more complete description. Excuse me. You might want to remember to add some links to your description. Grab a pen, grab a paper or your tablet, or however you note take, and start jotting down just a couple of things that you've realized you referenced during the stream that may or may not be in your description. And then sit down and add them to your description so they're at least there for the replay viewers. Okay. I'm going to check the chat again. Tech for Your Needs is here. It's great to see you. Legal Minded Karen says, my first live, I said I was live. Sorry for the hot mess, and I was shaking for 2 hours after. Sad thing is I'm not nervous in real life, only on camera. I totally understand. And you have to allow yourself. This is a time of change, and you're doing something you've never done before. You don't know how you're going to react. So be prepared to give yourself some time afterwards just to take it in. Everyone is a little bit different. Some people can just dust it off and move straight on. But Karen, you sound like you might be a little bit like me in regards to, like, you just need that minute. You just need a little bit of time to just digest what's just happened. And again, like for Karen, I am different in real life than I am on camera. And I've got different comfort areas. You put me somewhere where there's yarn, I'm a comfortable person. You put me somewhere where there's little dogs, comfortable person. You put me in a crowded room full of people who want to talk to me, less comfortable. Okay. So once you've sort of sat down and had a look at some of the things that you mentioned that weren't in your description, you've gone in and added them. you can have a little look at your description and think, okay, was this thing relevant? Because sometimes we add something to our descriptions that we intend to discuss or we intend to draw attention to, and then the motion of the live happens and it's not actually there. Then you remove those. Make sure that your description is relevant to your live chat. Now, if you look in my description, there is a section that is in all my live descriptions. It is things like some of my affiliate links, like my recommendations for StreamYard, my recommendation for Ecamm, my Buy Me a Coffee link, the camera that I'm using, little things that I think could help you as a live streamer. Now, while I may not actually talk about that specific thing during a live stream, I leave those things there. But if you say you mentioned, I don't know, I don't even have anything. A Stream Deck. Say you mentioned a Stream Deck and you don't have a link for a Stream Deck, go and grab one, add it in afterwards so that people can just click on it and find it. You're trying to make the path of least resistance and the most enjoyable journey for your viewers as well as for yourself. We've got a few extra comments here. Michael Sahovsky missed Doug's live stream. We did notice. Andrew says, put me with yarn and I'm sweating. I'm bad at craft. Yeah, we all have the things that we're good and bad at. And that's okay. And we don't all have to be good at exactly the same things. And it's actually good that we're not, because that's what gives variety to life. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I was planning my first stream last week and then fell sick with a bad case of the flu, sadly postponing the first stream. Oh, that's got to just, I mean, sometimes you just have to let life happen. You can plan another stream. Absolutely. I was fortunate that I'd been a guest on other streams more than a few times before I did my own live. I believe it definitely took all the butterflies away. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Not everybody gets that opportunity, and I'm glad you had it. Sometimes being a guest is, like as Andrew says here, being a guest on another show is a great entry point. It absolutely is. I think that's how Dee Niman started as well. He was a guest with Nick, and then eventually, I don't even think of that. Was it that long a step between when Nick was with Dee together and then Dee had his own I don't know the timelines of everybody else's channels, but yeah, absolutely, it can be a really, really great way. So that is something that I'm working out a way to do it safely, because I'll be honest, I am not comfortable with just bringing strangers onto my stream. I know Dee Niman did it for a while there, but I would love to have a way where we can privately have conversations and I can help you work through your little sort of niggles and set your framing up so that you're happy with it. And there'll be ways we can do that. And I'm like looking at, Zoom calls or Discord servers and things like that. So there's thought processes going on to be able to help you have your first time be less stressful because you've tested everything already. Podcast is also a great option because it is like the actions of going live, like especially if you're using something like StreamYard to record your podcast, doing it in one take, treating it like it's live, but then hitting record rather than stream. That's a really great stepping point. Absolutely. But yeah, hey Billy, how's it going? Okay, so the other things that you can check, and when I'm saying these things, I don't want you to be like, okay, this was bad, this was bad, this was bad, this was bad, I'm never doing this again. I want you to think of it with the eye of a person who is just trying to, you need to have a positive, kind voice to yourself. That's basically where I'm going with this, okay? So I'm about to list out a couple of things you need to check, but I want you to do it with the discerning eye of somebody being kind and not being a nasty villain to yourself, because it's very easy to do that. It's very easy. So when you have finished your live, you've double checked all your descriptions, you've done all that sort of stuff. This could be days later. It doesn't have to be on the same day as the live. Go back in and have a little look at your live stream on YouTube. Go and have a little squiz. Check it out, look at your lighting, and look at it from a production perspective, okay? So look at it like, how was my angle of my camera? Was it up my nose? Was it like, was only the top half of my head really being shown for most of it because I kept doing this? Or, have a look at it from the perspective of production. And then write yourself some notes. What could you do with the equipment that you have that could change this up a little? What could you do? Same with lighting, same with your audio. What could you do? Was like, I know that on one of my videos, my microphone must have been over here or something because the audio was just not quite right. And now remember, I've got to pull it really close so that I can, have the audio not be so quiet. Others, I've realized that my background music sometimes gets a little loud. And so I've got to keep an eye on that and notch it down. I'm sitting here listening to my washing machine sing to me. I forgot I put a load on. That's how quiet the actual wash was. Not so quiet now. So you do need to go through and have a little look at these things with a discerning eye so that when you get ready to go live the next time, you can be like, okay, that camera angle, what can I do about that? Can I bring it down by just a little smidge? And if you can't change it, accept it. For now, it's an accepting thing. Okay, so if you have an issue with your camera that can't be solved with movement or additional light or less light, then there's nothing you can do about it right now. And that can be a problem for another day. Try and solve a different problem. Was your audio a little bit off? Can you fix that? Was your lav mic rubbing on a t-shirt? Was it like, were you outside in the wind and the audio was being clipped? Like, have a little look at something else. You only need to change and fix one thing. You don't have to do a total reproduce of the entire thing for the next live stream. You don't. One thing is all you need to look at. And if you can change a couple and tweak a couple of little things, cool. But if it's overwhelming, choose one thing, the one thing that bugged you the most. And for me, I would check audio first. People can deal with bad lighting. They can deal with bad video. But when the audio is bad, that is when they're more likely to leave the stream, leave the video, whatever. So for me, if I can only change one thing, I check the audio first. So let's have another little look in the chat here while I have a drink. Travel Around Susie is here. It's great to see you. Tech for your needs. No excuses are allowed in this stream. Just do it. I mean, I'm a bit about the just do it. Been a couple of days in bed with meds, so I'm starting to get over it. Got to watch I learn a little more in bed, making the best of a bad situation. Absolutely. Hey, Leanne, great to see you. Happy you could make it. Livestream consultant said the way I set up my stream the first time was with private stream and had one friend I sent the link to, and we communicated via Skype to get everything set correctly. That's absolutely a way to do it. And when you're test streaming, that is awesome. But for this in particular, today is our first actually going live. So I highly recommend test streams. I think we mentioned that a couple of weeks back about all the different ways you could test your streaming, whether it's private, whether it's just watching a recording. There's a lot of options for a test stream. So we're just going to go through and sort of like the debrief after your very first public live stream. Game Widows is here as well. Legal Minded Karen says, I think it's trying to remember it is like having a conversation with one person, but I can't see that person, so I feel stupid. I may have mentioned this a million times before, but when I very first started recording videos, going live, things like that, I felt the same. Honestly, I felt like, oh, this is so weird. This is so weird. And I actually grabbed a Post-it note and drew a smiley face on it and stuck it just like above the lens on my camera so that it reminded me to look at the lens rather than at the screens. And, I had a side flip out screen. So instead of doing this the whole time, I would actually like look at the smiley face. And because it was a smiley face, I smiled as well. So not that you have to smile the whole time while you're streaming. But sometimes just that one little thing can change it up for you. So I definitely recommend trying that, or stick a photo of a friend or someone that you enjoy talking to. You can totally just a little bit of tape onto the lens of your camera, not the front lens, but across the top. Let me look. Yeah, getting the audio sync. Yeah, you know what? Like sometimes the audio does go in and out, and because I'm using StreamYard, there's no way to fix that. There's no, like, if you're in something like Ecamm or OBS, you can change your audio sync by like milliseconds, and that's sort of deep diving into some of the more heavier end live streaming sort of softwares and packages, or maybe not so much heavier end, but large learning curves. If you're using something like StreamYard, you don't actually have any of those power, like there's no way to go in and adjust that. So I try not to let like a microsecond or a millisecond sort of be too much like bother for me, because most people watching don't notice it. It's only if you're out like by a full word or something like that that people are actually like, is there a problem? Like, what's going on? Is it me? And like refreshing their streams, things like that. So sometimes things that bug us, our audience don't even care about, honestly. They're here for your information. And while dialing all of that stuff in is good if you can do it, if you have a system or softwares that allow you to do it, sometimes just the action of getting it done is more important than digging into the weeds and getting stuck in that sort of cycle. And sometimes you actually don't have any power over it, like with StreamYard. Do you use a second system while live to see how it looks? No. I run one computer system. I mean, technically I'm running two today. Okay, I'm running two today. I have the Mac Mini running, but not the stream. I'm running the stream on my Windows laptop because Doug and I are both testing out some different options as to why StreamYard is playing up, and we actually think because I ran a test stream with Ecamm last week, slightly different issues, but same sort of problem. Like it was there's something throttling the data going out of our Mac Minis, so YouTube's not getting the data on StreamYard. The backlog's getting messy. Excuse me, sorry. So when we move the chat away and off and on the screen, it's a bit painful. But usually I'm running one system, multiple screens. I like having more than one monitor. So I have one monitor that covers like all, like the StreamYard, exactly what I'm running, whether it's Ecamm or StreamYard, it's right there. Then the other monitor, I have YouTube open so that I can be checking what's going on. I can be checking stream strength. I can be looking at comments before they come over into this. And also double checking that the stream strength is good. So having YouTube open, I see a lot of comments, especially for StreamYard and less so for Ecamm, but a lot of these third-party encoders where people are like, I want the third-party encoder to do a poll. I want the third-party encoder to do this and to do that. And it's like, well, all this is available through YouTube. So then you just have your YouTube window open and do it. Well, I don't want to have two screens open. And I'm like, I don't like streaming without two streams open. So it's a different thing. Let's have a look. Did I answer that question? Do I use second system? Yeah, no second system. And I know some streamers do. If you are streaming, doing like a high-speed gaming, things like that, having one computer run your game and the other computer running your stream, highly recommend that. But for the kind of streaming that I'm doing, it's normally just face to camera, maybe a couple of cameras. I don't need to do that. I have a computer that's got strong enough graphics that can handle all of that. So it depends on the kind of streaming that you're trying to do. Tech for Your Needs suggests having a checklist to make sure that you're on target and don't go off the path. Hello. Yes, absolutely. Have a plan and work your plan. But also, I will say this. There's one thing to having a plan and then ignoring the chat. And you guys have been here for a bit. You know how I feel about that. If you're going to ignore the chat, record a video. That's how I feel about it. You know, if you want to repurpose your live stream, have sections where you talk to the camera, and then sections where you have like what I've been doing in today's stream. I will send out a little bit of information, then I will check the chat, and I will send out a little information, and I will check the chat. I understand the people that want to do like record a podcast live, things like that. and I have a little discussion at the start, a little discussion at the end. The podcast piece is pure and clean. And then when you download to edit it, you can trim it really easily and it saves in the editing time. And that is great. I'm not repurposing these like that. And so therefore I don't need to think about it in that regard. If that's what you want to do, then that's a discussion with yourself that you need to have. For me, these live streams are about you. They're about your questions. So if you've got a question, drop it in the chat and I will try and get to it. Absolutely. But have a checklist, especially if you're going to be doing something where you've got information or data that you want to convey and you can't remember all the statistics. Write them down. Absolutely. Have a basic script, have bullet points, have things that you want to, like I've got a couple of little asterisks of things I don't want to forget. No matter what happens, I don't want to forget them. So, things like that. It's always really important to have a plan in place, but also be prepared to go off the plan just a smidgy. Be flexible. Live stream's all about flexibility. If you can't handle something happening that you weren't expecting, you're going to find live streaming just a little bit stressful. Amazing Yacht Destination says best to go straight into the camera to have the audio in sync. Now, technically, yes, you're correct. However, softwares like StreamYard don't actually let you bring in audio from the camera. You need to bring your audio in separately. So depending on how you're live streaming, like, actually, hang on, I'm just bear with. Let me just check something here. Audio, mic. I don't know. I'm lying. Where my confusion is, you can bring your audio in from the mic. From the camera. I personally don't do it because, and I'll tell you why I don't do it. Quite often, I'll be using, especially to come into StreamYard with my Fibrific live streaming, I can't do the layering that I like. I like to have like layers and pictures and little frames around things. I like to do that. So what I tend to do is I have to bring in a virtual cam with all of that from another software and bring that in as a virtual cam. That can't bring in audio. So very sorry, I did misspeak. You can bring your audio in from the camera. If you're just using a camera and your microphone, you can totally do that. But if you are bringing it in over virtual cam, you cannot, because virtual cam does not bring in audio. I think that's right. Oh yeah, 300. Yeah. That is totally noticeable. Yeah, I would have been like, Russell would have also pointed out. Russell doesn't like it when the audio is out. Doug says that we're testing all the things. Yeah, we are. Yep, a win for the Windows folks. Absolutely. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I have my Mac Mini 16 gig on my desk. I use that for most things in here, and I've got a Windows laptop that I use for everything else. So I jump between the two. I was like Windows only, like Apple, for years, and only I got my first Apple device when I bought my iPad, maybe 2 years ago. Then I drank the Kool-Aid, and now I have more Apple devices. Doug says you could use your iPad or your phone to monitor the stream is coming through okay. Yeah, if you have issues with upload and download speeds as well, a really great option if you've got enough data for your phone is to actually turn your phone off your Wi-Fi network, just use your phone data and have the stream running there. Pop it on a little stand so that it's up and out of the way. Love these guys. They're really handy. They don't wiggle around. They're solid. They keep your phones and everything. I've got one for both my phones. I've got one for my iPad. The iPad one's bigger, obviously. But they're great. And then you can just sort of glance at it. It's not down on the table. So have it sort of up so that it's up. But yeah, you've got tons of options. You can go to YouTube. Or you can go to YouTube while you are in StreamYard. Yeah, so you have two tabs open and you can flip between them. Totally. So obviously it will depend on your internet and how it can cope. And this is going to be individual for everybody. But I'm in Australia and we have dog's breakfast internet here. It is terrible. And I can do it here. So you should be able to do it. Live stream consultant says the chat has to be part of the plan when live streaming. Oh, agree with this 100%. If the chat's not part of your plan, record a video. Plan to have a plan. I like that. Do you have a template of test and check pre-going live? Yes, I do. I probably don't have a link in the description, but there is over on my website. You can join the newsletter, and I think I've got it set up so you get my checklist straight away. If not, if you join the newsletter, I will grab your email address and email it straight over to you. It's just a PDF, and it's basically got all my standard live streaming plan stuff as well as my plans for when I have guests. So you're more than welcome to that. So yeah, I don't think my link to my, I'll just, add that to my list of things I need to do after the stream. Add link to email list. But yeah, so you can grab that as a downloadable. Tech for your needs piece of advice is don't panic when you get tech woes on your live stream. Yeah, because crap happens, Nick Nimmin, live streaming king, has crap happen. He's in Thailand. The internet and power can just boom, gone. It can happen. You've got no control over it. There's no point freaking out. You just take a deep breath and just do the best you can do. And if it means your stream is over for the day, then the stream is over for the day. What are we fixing today? Well, we are going through the things that you do after you've done your first live stream. I think that's only the paid version. For which? I'm confused. Hang on a second. A paid version for which? I'm a little bit behind in the chat, so I think I've missed something. So if you travel around, Susie, if you can clarify that out for me, I would love to answer your question. How about audio via HDMI? Does that work in StreamYard? So if you have, I've got my Sony A6400 going through a cam link. So that's HDMI to cam link, and then the cam links into USB. So I can bring in audio that way. I haven't tried audio directly via HDMI, so I can't speak to it itself. And I generally don't bring my audio in through my camera. I know it's not everybody agrees with that, but that's not what I do. I like to have my audio separately. So I like to have a separate audio interface so that if one thing dies, not everything has died. I like to have different things for points of failure. Is there any verdict yet regarding using Windows versus Mac on StreamYard? Did it solve the problem or the capability you are checking? Well, so far, I have not had any of the issues that I'd been having. So far, so one of the things that happened is when I brought a comment up, it could take ages for it to come up on mine. You would see it straight away. So from a viewer's experience, other than me going, it's not working, from a viewer's experience, it was fine. But from my experience, the comments would, and even when I clicked hide, so when I click hide, oops, I've got to click hide here. Comment disappears straight away, but it could still be sitting there and just sitting there and sitting there. And then I'd try and bring another comment up over it, and then you'd end up with all these comments stacked on each other and you couldn't even read anything. And then I get booted out of StreamYard. So it was very frustrating. But so far, fingers are crossed and tap wood, it's not happening on the Windows. And it's only started happening when I updated to Sonoma. So I have a feeling there's some sort of bottleneck somewhere. I don't know, because I've checked with StreamYard, I checked with Ecamm, I checked with my internet provider. They're all saying there's no problem. So I'm like, oh, okay. That one's for Florida. Great idea for a lead magnet. Thank you. I appreciate that. I should possibly bring my newsletter a bit more front. I should possibly write a newsletter because the list is so new. I haven't even put out the first newsletter yet. So could I pre-record bits, load to YouTube private, play them on StreamYard, then set to private to public on YouTube later? So could I pre-record bits? Yes. So you could bring them in as a screen share. That's going to use a fair bit of bandwidth. You could actually upload the video into StreamYard itself. So if you go into the brand tab and into video clips, you can add entire videos into there. So if you've got little clips that you want to refer to, you can bring them in. It just depends on how you want to view them. So if you want to have your face off to the side to refer to them, then you need to screen share them. But if you're happy for them to take the whole screen, you can have the video clip and just upload it, play the clip, just as simply as changing an overlay or bringing on your Be Right Back screen. Just click a button, and then once that's over, it comes back to this screen. Did that answer the question? I hope so. For being in voice. So Susie's question, let me just scroll back here. I still don't quite understand what you're saying with that one. So you're wondering if it's paid plan only for being in voice. I'm not quite sure what that is. Anyone just start drinking heavily after a live stream? Yeah, no, because my live streams are normally quite early in the day. Yeah. Oh yeah, Leanne, that'd be great. Thank you. Just the link to my website. I thought it was in the description, but you know, it may not be. I'll be checking that later. We think that the issue might be a Sonoma specifically, or Chrome for Apple Silicon. Yeah, we're still narrowing down what the issue is. I agree. I run my audio completely separate from the video. So if one thing crashes, the other continues working, so you can work through the issue. Yeah. And look, you know, this is one of those luxury things, right? Because we do have the luxury of having the separate audio from our cameras, and you know, having a nice mic, or I've got the little Rode AI one I am saving up for a Duo, and I'm really hoping there's a good sale for Black Friday. But we do have this ability. Now, what I used to do way back, long time ago, at least 3 years, I would actually plug a lav mic directly into my laptop. That's how I brought my audio in. You don't need an expensive mic. You don't need a separate audio interface. You just need a laptop or computer that has the option to 3.5 millimeter a lav mic straight into it. Can totally work. Oh, Leanne, wrong website, honey. That's the Fiberific website. That does not have the link for this. So, oh, Louis, thank you. And like Russell says, you can just switch the mics if the camera feed is failed. Technically, right now, I can switch between 3 different microphones. I am going to pop the Be Right Back screen on because I thought I heard someone knocking at the door. So just bear with me. Oops. Oh, come on. I think he's barking at a leaf or something. I don't even know. There was no one there. Good job, Louis. Well done. Okay, back to the comments. Let's hear. Let's go. There we are. Wait, is that a demo of a legit Be Right? Yes, it is. On the channel last week, I actually created that Be Right Back screen step by step. So if you want to learn how to make your own Be Right Back screen, you can totally go and watch that tutorial. It was using really great stuff. I enjoyed it. A good spot for a pay commercial. Yeah. Okay, so I was trying to ask, for StreamYard, being audio separately is only in the paid version, or can you do it in the free version? Yeah, no, it's a free, it's in all the versions. So you just need to choose your microphone. So when you go to settings, you click audio, and then when you can click the drop down, and you can choose your microphone from there. So you can have your audio in, like if you're wearing headphones, you can choose where your audio is playing through, and you can choose your microphone, and that's in all versions of StreamYard. That's not a paid only thing. 6. I'm not sure what that means. I'm lost and flustered from the dog letting me think that an Amazon delivery had arrived. I may have bought some stuff that went early for the Amazon delivery, went early for the Black Friday sale. So, I have 2 cameras set up just in case, 2 mics coming into the computer 2 different ways. Yeah, me too. Suspenders and belt, people. That's us, suspenders and belt. So I have this camera, I have a webcam. Now, admittedly, I will need to swing that around because it's facing a pile of craft right now, so it needs to swing over. And I also have two microphones. Two microphones that are plugged in and ready to switch to. And in the drawer behind me, I've got a lav mic I could just throw in really fast. So some of it is about location, and some of it is about like or proximity that I can get to it really quickly. And some of it is just change to that camera and you're done, change to that microphone and you're done. I'm just going to try and do it live. We'll just change to the other microphone and hope I don't trash anything, okay? So I don't know if that sounds any different for you or not, but that's a different microphone. That's my microphone that's out of the shot. And then back to my one that I prefer, which is this one. And then, hopefully nothing got lost. Tech for your needs created. Here's Be Right Back on Canva. Absolutely, it can totally work. You do need to make sure that the music that you're getting from Canva, you have the rights to, and the same with the video. Some of these things can't be used on a monetized channel. I think that's how it works. You need to check the terms and conditions of each individual piece of audio. I used Creator Mix Music, so obviously we can use Creator Mix Music without any hassles. And I also used a Tuber Tools graphic. So again, I bought the rights to use that graphic. So just making sure that everything is legit. You don't want to get copyright strikes. Just a little hollow. It's one that I prefer not to use it for live streams, honestly. But in a situation where something happened to this one, that one's not terrible. This one is better. It's doing the job it's designed for. The other one, not so much. Louis, I know what it is. It's Monday. It's garbage day. Louis is losing his mind at the garbage trucks. Goodness me. Yeah, the first mic sounds better. Absolutely. Okay, so we've gone through and talked about some of the things that if you can do something about it. So you go and check your video, you go and check your audio, you check your lighting. Sometimes if you have a video problem, it could come down to the lighting, especially if you're using a webcam. Webcams really need, they really, really, really need good light. So in a low light situation, webcams struggle. They get grainy. They're not designed for low light. So if you're in a low light situation, you will either need to add light or you will need to get yourself a different camera that can handle low light situations better. And sometimes just fixing the lighting can make the world of difference, and you need to test it and tweak it and work it out. And you can jump into something like StreamYard, bring yourself on stream, don't click record. You don't even have to click record, just have it open so you can be moving things around and then sit down and be like, oh yeah, that's less grainy. And just by tilting this light, just bringing it around a little. Or this particular little light here is a Yungyo YN300. It's got a little dial on the back. It's like a cheap light, a little dial on the back, so I can make it brighter and darker. And, play with your lighting. Get comfortable with the equipment that you have, but don't be afraid to play with it. It sounded okay, but yes, one by your mouth. Yeah, this one's designed for this kind of up-close conversation. It's what it's meant to do. When I used to have my own studio outside of my house, the room was treated differently. This was the microphone I used. I didn't even have this one. When I had to move everything into the house where there's people walking around and living their lives, I needed a microphone that rejected a bit more noise. So this was the one for that. What is the mic you want? I actually have the mic I want, to be honest. I wanted the pod mic. I've got the pod mic. I'm not like, I'm a tragic when it comes to gear, right? I like having the right gear for the job. For me, this is the right mic for this job. And I know there's people out there that are like, oh, get the Shure SM7B. It's like, why? You know, like, I'm not a professional singer. I'm not doing professional grade audio. I'm having a conversation with friends. You know, I don't need that level of expense. Now, luckily, with the new, with a lot of the new interfaces, you don't need the sound lifter, so it's like another expense on top of it. But yeah, I'm happy with the pod mic. I'm supremely happy. The one thing that I do want, it's not a microphone, it's the Rodecaster Duo. And out of everything that I have and everything that I want, the only things that I really, 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 really want to upgrade is getting a Rodecaster Duo and getting some lights that I can control from my Stream Deck. And other than that, I'm super happy with everything. So, you know, being content with what you've got makes life a bit easier. Now, in saying that, I do have a better camera. I used to have a different camera, and over the years I upgraded it. I have better lighting, but over the years I upgraded it. It's taken me 7 years of streaming to build this studio, and some of the things I still have from when I started. So some of the lighting, the little lav mic, the little emergency lav mic, you know, like some things. Livestream consultant says Epidemic Sound, Artlist, and Stream Beats are best for posting cross-platform. Just food for thought. I think you might want to double check the rules on Epidemic Sound. I don't think you can use them in live productions. I could be wrong. But there was one that you can't use in a live stream. You can use it in all your pre-records. Stream Beats is totally cool as well. Yep. That's also made by streamers for streamers. Webcams that won't lock white balance are a problem if you wear white. I don't wear white because I'm a grub, and my whites never stay white. But yeah, if you've got a webcam, you need to have some granular control over it. I use a Logitech Brio 4K. I download the app for it. The app is not perfect, but I do have some control. So I can either go auto white balance or manual white balance, auto zoom or not auto zoom, auto focus or manual focus. I've got some controls. So I'm a control freak. Yeah. Absolutely. With Epidemic Sound, you do have to go in and connect your various platforms. You get one account for each platform on your sound. You get one channel for each account that you have on Epidemic Sound. I think that made a full sentence. Did Epidemic solve their double dipping yet? I don't know. That'd be a good question for Doug. Do you think you could knit me a Be Right Back sign? Look, I know I could make one, but whether I will make one, possibly not. I used to give legal advice on a radio station. Having a mic like you're using reminds me of a radio station. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. A lot of radio stations, they will have the more expensive mics, and it's sometimes like this is the thing with gear. And I was talking to like a production manager of an ad company, and we were talking about lighting in that instance, but it covers the whole board. Some of the cheap lighting and microphones can do the job. Where large production companies go and buy the really expensive ones, it's not to get a better light as such or a better sound, which they will do as well, but it's so they can be chucked in and out of travel cases and they can survive their journey going from site to site to site to site. I don't know how well some of my gear would go if it was being packed down and put up and packed down and put up and, you know, shipped on trucks and who knows what. I use mostly inexpensive gear. I think that the most, I'm just looking around, other than the computer, the most expensive thing I have is my camera. So yeah, it is, you know, it's different. I like the Fifin. I don't know how to say it. Fifin seems right, like hi-fi, Fifin. It's only $36, but you do need an interface to get into the computer. Yeah, look, this has a pod mic. I've got the old pod mic. I've had this for longer than you know, like a year or something. And Rode did bring out the USB version, but this one is the XLR version, hence the XLR cable. It needs an audio interface. So I've just got the little Rode AI1. So in Australian dollars, the pod mic and the Rode AI1 interface was $300 for both. So it was a really inexpensive way to get quality audio, and that's Australian dollars. So if you're in the UK or in the US, kind of halve that, you'll get your price-ish. The Australian dollar is toast at the moment. So yeah, so you've got lots of options, and you don't have to go expensive. My Boya BY-M1 lavalier mic was like 15-ish Australian dollars. Plug it into my laptop, audio's fine. You don't need to spend crazy amounts of money just to like do little tweaky updates. Now, if you're going live for the first time, you might be using the in laptop mic and camera. And I when I very first started going live streaming, I used the webcam that was in my laptop. Now, in saying that, I did have a Surface Pro, so it was a really nice webcam. Most built-in webcams are pretty meh, but it was nice. It did the job. But I still plugged in a mic, and I ran double camera live streams off a Surface Pro, like the Surface Pro 4. So single, it was the dongle life, baby. Dongle in, camera, second camera, like USB webcam, microphone, and then I also had a dongle adapter to actually hardline the internet in as well. So there are ways around things. There's totally ways around it. The products are a great, inexpensive way to start and practice with everything. Absolutely. Now, sometimes there's some gear that you know you're going to want to buy, right? Like every now and again, you'll have a bee in your bonnet about something. And if you buy the cheaper version just to make do, you won't be satisfied. So sometimes just waiting and saving for the thing that you really want is the way to go. And for me, I will say that with my colored lighting, I wish I waited and saved for the stuff that I wanted, because I've constantly changed and I've probably spent the money over and over that I could have spent to buy the actual lights I want, as I was like, oh, it died, I've got to buy another $20 light. Oh, it died, I need to buy another $20 light. And it's like anything in life, you know, sometimes waiting and saving for what you want. Other times the cheap field light does the job, you know, like it depends on what it is. Not all things are created equal. So let me have a look in my list to make sure that we have gone over. Oh, that's the other thing. There's one last point that I really, really want to make, and I need to make this clear. So you need to stop what you're doing and just listen for just a second, okay? When we go live and we have our replay up, and you can go back and rewatch it, and you can be very nasty with yourself. You can be very picky. You can be over picky. You need to give yourself a break. It was your first live stream or one of your first live streams, or it could be your 50th live stream, whatever. It's a live stream. Sometimes crap happens. Give yourself a break. You also need to double check that you do not over-analyze when you're going in to dig in to find the one thing, the little thing you want to tweak and fix. Don't over-analyze, because you may end up with analysis paralysis, where you have analyzed and analyzed and analyzed, but you can't see your way past your now perceived problem. And so you are stuck in this place. So you need to make sure that when you're going through, when you're reviewing, when you're checking, that you look at it with a discerning eye and not a harsh eye. And you need to make a plan for the next step. And even if it's a small and tiny step, so that you don't get stuck in a rut and you can keep moving forward. I would love to have the Electro Voice RE20, but I can't justify the $450 price tag when the $36 mic works so well for my voice. Now, I love this last sentence, or last part of your sentence. The mic works so well for my voice. And that in itself is something really, really important. If you are a creator and you are hunting for a microphone, understanding that different mics work better for different voices. Most of the mic review channels that I found were men reviewing mics. Their voices are different timber. Everything is different about a male's voice to a female's voice. And I needed to I had to risk it a little bit. There's not very many audio channels where there's a female voice being tested on a mic. And it can totally change how a mic picks up a voice as to, like we've got higher range, whatever. Some women don't. It depends on your individual voice. So finding somebody who has a voice tonally similar to yours can be really helpful. Now, there's some great channels out there that give fantastic reviews. Podcastage is my favorite audio review channel of all time. That is my first stop. Anytime I'm looking for anything audio, that's where I go. But male voice. So I always have to take what he says with a little grain of salt, and whatever I buy may be a bit different for my voice, and I might have to change something in the settings if possible to fix it. So always remember that when you find a mic that works well for your voice, upgrading to the dearer mic may not actually be better. So grain of salt on, mic reviews. Amazing Yacht Destinations. Thank you so much for that reminder. Please do hit the thumbs up. If you do find these live streams are beneficial, and you can, I do have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description down below. I'm not monetized yet. I am in the 500 range. Australia got added to the list for the fan funding, but I'm not there yet. I don't have the watch time and I don't have the subscribers. So any help and assistance would be greatly appreciated. I did take Nick Niman's recommendation, and when I remember to close the heavy curtains in the room I use, it improved the hallway echo sound. I'm facing a big double glass window right now, okay? But I have sound treated this room. There are sound blankets, and by sound blankets, I mean sort of thick, better quality moving blankets that I added grommets to, and they're actually hung from the roof all the way around the room. And when my family's home, I shut the door. I've added like this thing that's under the door so sound can't travel under the door, and I have another sound blanket that I pull and can cover the doorway so that I can try and get it a bit better. The catch, I live in Australia. We're coming into summer. This room is not air conditioned. So if I do all of that, I'm in a little oven. So the difference for me is I tend to do this side. If I can, I leave the door open and I have a fan blowing in, which you may or may not be able to hear. So yeah. As at 6'1", is that what you're saying here? Oh, at 61, I have a deep projecting voice, and that 36 mic handled my voice better than anything else I tried. Yeah, see, this is the thing. You have to pick the mic for your voice, and we all need to pick a mic that suits our voice. Once you're in the market and can test and work these things out, in the meantime, get an inexpensive mic that's not rubbish, There's plenty out there. Florida Home Manufactured says, I use a PodTrack P4 with the iPhone interface. Looks like a little Rodecaster Pro 2. Won't interface for calls via phone. Do you interview that way, or Zoom or other interface? I always interview here in StreamYard. I don't bring in calls, so that not connecting up at this stage. I know they're working on it. That actually, I thought that the latest, I could be wrong, but the latest firmware update did allow for you to connect your audio that way. I know you can bring audio in that way. I don't know about the audio back out. Anyway, definitely worth checking out the latest. They're constantly updating the firmware on the new Procaster, the Rodecaster Pro 2s. So there's new things that are coming out for it all the time. But no, for me personally, I always interview through StreamYard. It's why I originally got my very first StreamYard account way back when, was because I wanted to bring guests in. So even if they don't want to be on camera, you can choose the option to turn the camera off. I'm gonna do it right now so you can see what happens. So you still get the voice, you still get the little glowy voice. And when there's two people on two people here, you can have one side with the, one side's like my side with the camera and their side with the box with the glowing thing. They can still join as a voice only on StreamYard. They don't have to come in via camera if they don't want to. Yeah, no aircon in this room. Absolutely. I've gotten quotes. I'm not ready for it yet, but I'm ready for it. Does that make sense? More expensive mics also tend to pick up more imperfect sound. So the more expensive, not just on the mic, but also the sound treatment. And that is something also to keep in mind. Absolutely. When you start upgrading to the more pro level gear, that pro level gear is designed to be used in a pro level environment. So if you are not sound treating your room, no amount of great microphones is going to solve that. You need to do something, even if it's just as simple as hanging a doona over something directly in front of you, like behind the camera, so that your audio is not echoing out entirely out into the world. You've got cheap options to try and solve these problems. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. You can go and grab a duvet or a doona or a bedspread or whatever you want to call it and drape it over a tall chair or a ladder or something, just to try and get some of that noise. You work out, like I've got a corner right here and I had to cover that corner because it was echoing and bouncing off this little corner. Corners are naughty. My issue is room. I use high ceilings and hardwood floors. Yeah, I've got sort of standard height ceilings for Australia, but I have a hard floor. So I've had to treat it. The other thing that you can do is you can throw blankets on the floor around you as long as they're not in shot. And that stops the audio from bouncing quite so hard. So you can test all this stuff. Just grab an armload of blankets or towels or something and just drop it on the floor around you. Bring in something behind your camera and just hang it there. If you've got one of those fold out room dividers, put it there, throw a doona over the top of it. It all helps. Every bit helps. Mics are a huge rabbit hole. When I was a musician, the sound techs would have a long and detailed conversations. Yeah, because it's a different mic for different instruments. So absolutely. Just had a horrible flashback of sound techs making us testing over and over and over. Yeah. Michael, have an awesome day. Thank you for jumping in. I did try that too. A blanket on the floor. Yeah. Now, don't spread it out like so it's flat. You want it bunchy. So like, bunchy. If you have a look at bands like grungy rock bands and stuff, they always have those carpets under their instruments and carpets under their singer and stuff. That's not for comfort. That's inexpensive audio treatment. So yeah, I purchased 2 sound absorbing wall panels. Don't know if they work, but they're very attractive. Look, some of these wall panels are great. Some of them look like artwork. They're doing such cute things. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Roy something. He does audio stuff for people all the time. He built a pile. And it was just timber frames with hessian. And then inside it was just wall bats. And then just covered over the back of it and just hung them on the walls, like out of shot, but they absorb some of the sound. And depending on your situation, you can hang them over your ceiling too. If you've got that option, your ceiling is another place you'd like to do. I don't do it here because I can't reach the ceiling without a ladder. I am short. Me and ladders aren't friends. Also, this microphone helps. So, know someone who makes patchwork quilts? Sound protection with pretty patterns. Yeah, absolutely. So let me know in the chat, did you find any of these points that I made about after your live stream? Is there something on that list that you haven't done that you would consider doing? Do you have something that you think I should add to the list? I'd love to know, because I'm always learning and I'm always updating and changing my streams as well, constantly. Everything's changing from stream to stream to stream. As a matter of fact, today I intend on pulling my entire office apart and moving things around because, you know, I mean, the desk has to stay where it is. It's too big and the room is too small. But I'm moving some stuff around. So there'll be, I mean, I'll notice a difference. You may not. Just remember, sound treatment foam is for controlling reverb, not sound deafening. Yes, excellent point, live streaming consultants. There is a difference between sound treatment and sound proofing. I cannot soundproof this room without spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but I can treat this room. I can find the spots that create more echo and I can stop that, but I can't stop the noise of my family coming through the walls. So I can reduce it a little bit, maybe muffle it a little bit, but that's the best I can do. So for me, adding the thing, there's one of those things, I found it on like Amazon, and it's got like two little skinny pool noodles on either side, and you slide it in, it's got a plastic flap. Created, because there's a big gap under my doorway, like a whole cat arm could fit under it. Killing that space stopped a lot of noise coming in. But this room is not soundproofed. It's sound treated, and you're definitely huge differences between the two, for sure. I was in a recording studio that used sound boxes, pizza boxes for soundproofing. Yeah, my dad used to use egg cartons. So yeah, for sound treating. I love the list of what you talked about. 1 or 2 I need to add. Yeah. And this is the thing, like, I don't want you overwhelmed, okay? I want you doing. But if there's anything I can do to help you take those steps, I will help. Because I know how stressful it is. And I know, you know, that sometimes it could be one little thing that your brain latches onto. So just helping you to make those first steps, because you'll get into a momentum after that. So far I keep monetizing off for live streams, then later turn them on the tab for replays. My question is why? Why do you do that? I leave my monetization off. I get the majority of my views for my Fiberific live streams during the live. So if I turn my monetization off, I would miss out on all that income. So I don't understand why you have that off. Is there a reason? Like, please let me know. I'm very curious. Let me have a look here. Yeah. Legal Mind Karen would like to know also. Yeah. Because whether you have monetization off or on, it makes no difference if somebody copyright claims your channel. I'm just trying to think of what would be the benefits of having it off. I don't know. I do know that when you use a third-party encoder, you have to go into YouTube and turn your monetization on. There is no way for it to automatically be on. I also have to go in and click live chat replay and turn off the reactions. So yeah. I fear the ads for live people may be off-putting. I don't turn on mid-roll ads. I don't like mid-roll ads. I don't turn them on for anything. But I have a pre-roll ad for sure. Everyone's used to it. It's the cost of them getting free videos on YouTube is for them to watch a pre-roll ad, then go for it. But yeah, mid-roll ads, I have those off. Absolutely. But yeah, I just like Stag's saying, let them have one on the way in. Because I'll be honest, YouTube was probably playing an ad anyway. You don't get to, when you're not, you might actually get to have it off because you're monetized. For those of us that aren't monetized, YouTube are putting ads on anyway. So they're used to it. They got used to it before you got monetized, that they get an ad. Before you're monetized, you have no control over whether ads play or don't play on a pre-roll. So YouTube viewers are used to it. Now, sure, yes, mid-roll ads, annoying in a live stream. But pre-roll ads, absolutely. Yeah, Doug's the same. Big no for mid-roll ads in lives. Yeah. If there's mid-roll ads in my live stream, it is a total accident, and I need to know about it because I need to go in and find the setting and turn it off. Because I hate ads in live streams, like in the mid-rolls. I know a few creators tested it, but they warned their community, we're testing something. Hey. YouTube changing to them deciding on which type of ad, same for lives? Yes, same for everything. Everything across YouTube, you either have ads on or off, but you do still get to decide if you have mid-roll ads on or off. So, and that's across YouTube. That's not just for uploaded videos. YouTube did not play one before your stream tonight. Cool. So, and that's the other thing. They may not have played one for you, but they might have played one for someone else. But you know, different things. Mid-roll ads are off-putting. Yeah. I think most people don't like a mid-roll ad in a live stream. And even if you do the whole, hey, you know, we're going to break for an ad, and prepare them for it, and then have like a 60-second or a 30-second empty space. Anyone with YouTube Premium's just sitting there watching your empty space because they don't get served ads. If YouTube have recently served that viewer an ad, then they're not likely to serve one again. So you can't even really plan it in as such. So other than if you've got like a sponsored bit where you do an ad read yourself, you can't guarantee an ad will play exactly where you want it and when you want it. Okay, so last drinks, everybody. So get your last questions in, and then we are going to call it a day. This has been a great live stream. It feels like it's just flowed really nicely. I can say that the Windows laptop has not had any of the problems that my Silicon Mac has had lately with live streaming. Aline Smith, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for jumping in. So I'm going to grab a sip of my tea, which is stone cold. Amazing Destination says, yes, premium is great, no ads. I agree. I love premium so much. So much. One video freeze. You had a video freeze? I haven't had anything freeze on my end as far as I know. Yeah, iced tea, and not in the good way. This is a milky cold black tea that's now cold. Well, it was a hot black tea that's now cold. So yeah, but yeah, no, I'm a huge advocate for YouTube Premium. I love it. I've got the family plan. I've joined years and years ago, so they've grandfathered me in on pricing. We just got notification that their price is going up, so it's jumping from $17.99 to $32.99, and we're like, oh, is it still worth it? And we're like, for our family of 3 people, it's still worth it. So because we all use YouTube Music as well. So Legal Minor Karen says she's had no freezing. Florida City had about a second of freezing. That's interesting. But yeah. All right. Well, I hope you all have an amazing week coming up. I know it's Sunday night for some of you. I hope that all your live streams run smoothly. I hope that all your correspondence gets the answers that you want, or you know, sometimes the answer that you need. That's the one. I like this. I will try the 1-month ad-free trial. If I like the price, I feel like I'm being robbed, I'll keep it up in January. These ads interrupting every few moments is annoying. Are you getting ads from me every few moments? Because you shouldn't be, I don't think. So, but maybe from other streamers, you could be. Anyway, thank you so much, live streaming consultants. And thank you to all of you who joined in and jumped in and asked your questions in the chat. I truly appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, pop your questions down in the description, in the comments area. I will try and answer them as best I can. And if I can't, I will add them to my list of topics for future live streams. Have an awesome week, and I will catch you next time. Bye now.